Welcome to the Non-Negotiable Living podcast, where we're building lives by design by creating non-negotiable habits around fitness, family, faith, and financial freedom.
Hey everybody, Ashley here. I'm excited to be back with you guys. I took a couple weeks off of doing the podcast over the holiday weekend, but I'm thrilled to dive back in, fresh start for the year, and get everybody rolling in the right direction. Today's episode is going to ruffle some feathers, but I want it to, because what I'm about to say is something that I see every single day with the women I work with, yet so few people are talking about it and saying it out loud. So I want to get real with you. So every day I talk to high-level, successful, driven, type A, motivated women every single day, and they are crushing it in their careers. They manage chaos like it's nothing. They lead teams, they close deals, they make decisions, they manage households, raise kids, run departments, and they make it all look seamless. But on paper, they are the definition of excellence and success. But in private, they feel like complete frauds in their own body. So today we're going to talk about the disconnect, because this isn't because these women are lazy, and it's not because they lack motivation or discipline, but it's because when they look in the mirror, the woman that they see doesn't match the woman that everyone else sees at work. They don't see powerful in their skin. They feel off. And that misalignment, that gap between who they are professionally and how they feel physically, cuts deep, because it's not just about body image, it's about their identity. These are women who know how to execute. They know how to build systems. They know how to solve problems, and they know how to hit goals. And they thrive under pressure. So when their health feels messy, inconsistent, or out of control, it doesn't just frustrate them. It literally shakes them to their core, because they don't understand why they cannot figure out how to close the gap between what they're after, what they're doing, and why it's not working. It just doesn't make any sense, because their health isn't supposed to be the thing that breaks them. And the worst part is these types of women tend not to talk about the struggle, because they are the ones who seemingly have it all together. So not only are they struggling, they're trying to manage it all. They're carrying the weight of 1,000 things on their shoulder. They have decision fatigue. They're trying to figure out their health. They're not getting there on their own, and they won't talk about it. They won't ask for help. They won't lean into anybody, and they won't raise their hand and say, somebody please just take this mental load off of my shoulders and give me what I need to be successful. But the real problem isn't motivation, it's just misalignment. So I have to give it to you straight. When women struggle with their health, high achieving, type A, successful, financially thriving women, it's not a motivation problem, and it's not a discipline problem, and it isn't because they are bad at health. It is truly a gap in the education and an identity gap. So what we have to remember is that as our career evolved, our leadership evolved, our systems evolved. As we went into motherhood, we started to come up with new plans, new systems, new schedules that fit our needs. But the problem is, your health strategy never evolved with you. It never evolved with those changes in your career, in marriage, in motherhood. And you keep trying to do the same things that you did before that worked when you were in your 20s, when you didn't have high cortisol, when you weren't running a company, when you didn't have 2 kids running around, when you weren't making 1 billion decisions a day. And that health strategy does not work the same way once you're in your mid-30s, your 40s, your 50s. So if you're still running the same just try harder script that you did when you were 25, that's not going to work now, because now your nervous system is fried. Your cortisol is high, your sleep is like crap, your hunger cues are off, you're skipping breakfast, your workouts feel hard, you're not as strong, and all the strategies that made you feel powerful in business, in work, in your education, the push harder, grind longer, ignore the pain, are now the very things that are sabotaging your body success. Because the traits that you built can also break you. You built your success through grit, tenacity, doing more, outworking the problem. So naturally, when our body doesn't respond the way that we want it to, our instinct is to double down, cut more, push harder, train more, sleep less, try again on Monday. But the truth nobody ever taught you is that your body doesn't reward overperformance. It responds to regulation and rest. So we have to let that sink in, because I see this over and over again. Again, you are not stuck because you're lazy. You're stuck because your nervous system has been in fight or flight mode for years, and the routine you're trying to follow doesn't fit your life. And what you're calling lack of results is your body's way of saying, I'm not safe, and I'm not giving you anything until you start treating me like I matter, which sometimes means less exercise, more fuel, adequate rest. Those things matter. And it's this stacking up of stress that is burning you out. So let's walk through what's really happening in your body. For one, you're living with constant deadlines, leadership pressure, emotional labor at home, decision fatigue, the mental load of managing everybody else's needs in your household. And then you try and add on skipping breakfast, living on caffeine, training 6 days a week, eating too little, sleeping too little, never allowing yourself to rest. And when your body doesn't cooperate, you blame yourself, your age, your hormones, your genetics. But in reality, you're just not giving your body what it needs. Because your biology doesn't care how strong your willpower is. It cares about how safe and supported you feel. So please just remember, you don't need to hustle more. You need alignment with your life, your age, your hormones, and where you're at and what you're trying to achieve. So we have to reframe this. You don't need to do less because you're weak. You need to do everything smarter because you're elite. High-level women don't win by white-knuckling their health. They win by mastering regulation, recovery, and the right structure to match their lifestyle. A calm, supported, well-fed body is a responsive body. And until you stop treating your health like a performance metric, it will keep pushing back. And again, it's not about perfection. It's about alignment. Alignment between your ambition and your biology, your leadership and your nervous system, your goals and your strategy. And that's where everything changes. And when women finally have something that is aligned with all of that, designed for them specifically, they're not cherry picking things off of the internet and winging it, trying to grind harder, eat less, cut carbs, cardio every day. Once we get those things in alignment, progress is made. So please remember, if you have been on this vicious cycle for years of trying to do what you did back in college, of trying to do these things other people are doing and they're not working for you, if you are looking at your life and you think, I have got it all together, my house is beautiful, my finances are on point, I get to travel, my husband is amazing, my kids are healthy, my life is grand, but my health feels out of alignment and I feel like a fraud in this body, you're not alone and it's not your fault. You need the right support and accountability that's going to get you on the right track. So if this makes you feel uncomfortable to hear this, and you're like, damn, how does she know all about me? Then good, because that discomfort is usually where truth happens. When you can name the real problem, you can find a real solution. So no, you don't need to start over again on Monday. You don't need to train harder. You don't need to do more cardio. You don't need to cut more carbs. And you don't need another 30-day reset or challenge. You need structure, support, and a strategy that matches the season of life you're in, the standards you're trying to lead your life with, and accountability and support to help get you to your goals, to let you know you're on the right track. Because you weren't meant to live feeling like a fraud in your body. You were made to walk into every room feeling powerful, aligned, and unapologetic, filled with confidence. So we want to make that the new normal in 2026. And if you need support doing that, reach out to me. But until then, just remember, grind harder, push more. Those aren't the things that are going to take you across that finish line to get to your goals this year. Didn't work last year, didn't work the year before. You need structure, accountability, and support aligned with your goals, your body, your age, your hormones, and your schedule. And once you have that, the results will come. You got this, girl.